Cameroon is run in accordance with its construction. When my mandate expires, we will be informed if I'll stay or return to the village. The words of Head of State President Paul Biya. Meantime, French President is already in Cameroon for a two-day state visit. Both presidents were responding to questions posed by journalists regarding bilateral relations and their mandates. 7 p.m. by our studio clock, 7 p.m. across the national territory. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being with us for the 7 p.m. English newscast on DBS TV, live from Douala. My name is Gienda. Peldrin Blanche King, His Excellency President Paul Biya of Cameroon has received his French counterpart, the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, who entered the country yesterday at about 10 p.m. through the Yaoundé-Simalin International Airport. Both men discussed bilateral relations between France and Cameroon in diverse domains, including security, economy, culture, as well as technology. The event was marked by a press conference where both presidents answered questions related to Franco-Cameroonian relationship. A special envoy on assignment at the Unity Palace at Bonaventure now recounts the exploits achieved from ties between Cameroon and France, responding to questions from a French journalist about ambition to run for another term. Cameroonian President Paul Biya mentioned that his mandate is still on course and will only give his opinion or say something about his stance at the end of his mandate. At Bonaventure reports.
Cameroon and France enjoyed established diplomatic relations in 1960 upon independence of Cameroon. However, both countries maintain long-standing ties that date far back to the First World War, when 4/5 of the territory was administered as a trusteeship under the League of Nations and subsequently under the mandate of the United Nations till independence in 1960. Since the establishment of diplomatic ties, leaders of both countries have regularly paid exchanged visits at the highest diplomatic levels. The visit of President Macron offers another opportunity for both heads of state to revive the strong ties binding Cameroon and France in the spirit of mutual respect and understanding. Partnership between both countries covers a wide range of areas, with France being Cameroon's strategic and traditional partner. In this regard, Cameroon has benefited from France's assistance to its development efforts. France is also firmly committed to assisting Cameroon in its fight against the Boko Haram jihadist group, terrorists in the northwest and southwest regions, and trans-border crime.
We now talk about the warm reception that was given French President Emmanuel Macron upon arrival at the Simalin International Airport yesterday. Our reporter Ate Bonaventure was there at the time of arrival. His report.
10:42 p.m. Monday evening, here arrives the special plane on board French President Emmanuel Macron. A mammoth crowd has been waiting anxiously to give him a hilarious welcome that an august guest deserves. The French Supremo is received by Cameroon's Prime Minister. Then both men will proceed with the review of troops, after which the national anthem of both countries will be executed. It has been a long night for men and women of the national and international press, who have remained steadfast and on alert, ready to catch the latest scoop. During his stay in Cameroon, President Emmanuel Macron will also make a stopover at the French embassy in Yaoundé to meet French nationals resident in Cameroon and also meet other dignitaries at the Tongono residence of the winner of the 1983 French Open, Yannick Noah. The most awaited moment of the presidential visit is the one-to-one talk between President Paul Biya and his guest, the press conference, and the special launch at the Unity Palace. Cameroon is President Macron's first African destination since re-election for a second term at the Élysée Presidential Palace in April.
In his first trip to Africa, French President Emmanuel Macron is on a three-nation tour of West African states. His visit, according to French state media radio, seeks to revive the relationship between France and these African nations. Rugiatu Buba has more.
French President Emmanuel Macron has begun a three-nation tour of African states in the first trip to the continent since winning re-election, as he seeks to rebuild France's post-colonial relationship with the continent. Macron's July 25 to 28 tour will show the commitment of the president in the process of renewing the relationship with the African continent. Cameroon, which has been torn apart by ethnic violence and an armed operation by Anglophone separatists, Macron meets 89-year-old President Paul Biya, who has ruled the country for almost 40 years and is the longest-serving non-royal leader in the world. According to French state media Radio France Internationale, Macron is seeking to revive economic ties between his country and Cameroon, where French economic influence has been dwindling. At the top of the agenda in the talks is the food supply issue, with African nations fearing shortages, especially of grain, due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Recent weeks have seen attacks by armed separatist groups in Cameroon's Francophone regions, a new concerning trend. These attacks contributed additional urgency for Macron to engage President Biya on the Anglophone crisis. His July 25 to 28 tour starts with a visit to Cameroon before moving on to Benin and then Guinea-Bissau. The trip to three countries, which rarely featured on the plan of global leaders, comes with Macron, who won a new term in April, pledging to keep up his bid for a new relationship between France and Africa. Macron will move on Wednesday to Benin, a neighbor of Africa's most populous nation, Nigeria. The north of the country has faced more deadly attacks, with a jihadist threat now spreading from the Sahel to the Gulf of Guinea. On Thursday, Macron finishes his tour in Guinea-Bissau, which has been torn apart by political crisis at a time when its president, Umaru Sissoco Embalo, is preparing to take the helm of the Economic Community of West African States. From every indication, Macron's visit to Africa is for the good of France and for the interests of France and not otherwise.
Let's now talk something else. The Social Democratic Front political party is set to renew its basic organs. The party organizes a National Executive Committee at the headquarters in Yaoundé, Cameroon's political capital. That was recently, as our reporter Ikokobere Mikaro highlights in the following report.
The highly anticipated National Executive Committee, NEC, of the Social Democratic Front was recently held at its headquarters in Yaoundé. The works kick-start with the arrival of the party's national president, Nijon Frundi. The meeting started in a tense atmosphere with complaints from a group of 27 executives who met in Buda to contest against the recent appointment of the chairman within the shadow cabinet and the NEC with the case entrusted to the legal commission of the party. The major points on the legal agenda was related to the renewal of the basic organs of the party.
At this moment, whenever NEC decides to meet, it decides to raise political, economic and social issues affecting the life of the party, the life of the nation, as well as the international community. On our agenda, we have a series of issues. The SDF actually is in a process of reorganization and renewal of basic party structures, and basic party structures include the ward, the electoral districts, the divisional coordinations and the regional level.
On the eve of the National Executive Committee, The meeting of ministers of the shadow cabinet was held where the chairman asked them to work to becoming real ministers of the Republic.
The SDF is the only way where you can progress. You can not only progress, learn, and also show what you're capable of doing, because no other political party has that advantage in putting youth first and also encouraging them to become ministers in Cameroon.
The newly appointed into the shadow cabinet were mostly youths.
The city mayor of Bafoussam, alongside other benevolent donors, have launched Operation Keep the Town Clean. To facilitate this campaign, hygiene and sanitation materials have been distributed to heads of neighborhoods and other local authorities to ensure that this campaign reaches all around the city of Bafoussam. Nde Vanessa Shiong reports.
In his dynamic action to develop the town of Bafoussam, the regional capital of the West region, the Mayor Roger Tafam has donated some materials to ensure the hygiene and sanitation of the town neighborhoods and markets of the Minfi division, an action which takes place every year but with some major innovations.
Cette année, nous avons fait un peu plus en donnant plus de matériel, surtout parce que
this year we have given more materials because our three councils is in competition for the best cleanest council of Cameroon. We hope that, including our population in a kind of participatory democracy, we hope to attain the objective, which is that of keeping our city clean and beautiful.
These equipments for the town of Bafoussam is thanks to the collective effort of some civil society organs in the region and the council. Quarterheads, presidents of market, received the materials for their respective localities, a gesture worth acknowledging.
The situation is not very pleasant, but we do the necessary effort. These materials comes to accompany effort already being made on the field, and it comes to complete the ones we had received. So the equipment will go a long way to help us.
Bafoussam intends to maintain the pace among the cleanest city in the West region and compete with other best cleanest cities of Cameroon.
Every July 26th is celebrated as the International Day for the Conservation of the Mangrove Ecosystem, a day set aside by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization to raise awareness of the mangrove as a unique, vulnerable and special ecosystem. Details compiled by Kmer Mikaro.
The world today, July 26, 2022, is celebrating the International Day for the Conservation of the Mangrove Ecosystem, aimed at raising awareness of the ecosystem as a unique, special and vulnerable ecosystem, and to promote solutions for the sustainable management, conservation and uses. In order to protect our society and environment, environmentalists say the conservation of the mangrove ecosystem is important as it plays a crucial role in protecting coastlines from eroding shorelines and safeguarding marine biodiversity. It mitigates the effect of tides and tsunamis, reduces atmospheric carbon, and provides food and shelter for many birds, fishes, and other animals. They are of significant ecological importance, but despite its advantages on the environment, mangroves are one of the most threatened ecosystems on the planet as they are being destroyed at an alarming rate. In coastal towns like Douala, the main threat to mangroves is their conversion into land for uses like development for housing, commercial areas and industrial sites. To this effect, some countries have lost more than 80% of their mangrove population. Mangroves are coastal trees and shrubs that grow in tidal zones. On July 26, 2015, the International Day for the Conservation of the Mangrove Ecosystem was adopted by UNESCO in the General Conference that year to promote the conservation and sustainable growth of the mangrove forest.
Let's now discover what the Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian sport discipline, is all about. A martial art combat sport and personal defense system derived from judo. Intern journalist or journalist on internship, Mbuwe Bermo Ashley.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a major discipline in Brazil, the United States and Japan. It is a sport derived from judo, which is practiced on the ground. The objective of the sport discipline is to submit the opponent by strangulation or articulation key. Voluntary strikes are prohibited. These two techniques represent the specificities of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and differentiate it from judo. Indeed, judo puts more efforts on projections and immobilizations to bring the opponents to the ground. For the uninformed, the difference between these two disciplines may seem complex and vague. Like judo, jiu-jitsu has several colored belts with bars to mark the progress of the fighters. The passage of the rank is generally carried out with the age of the practitioner. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a sport that allows a fighter to defeat his opponent regardless of his weight or size. Fighters must control their breathing, manage their emotions, and use their mental and muscular energy. In this, we often hear that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the ideal sport for people who want to win stronger than themselves. Strategy during combat is essential in order to be able to take advantage of your opponent's mistakes or inattention to win. The effectiveness of this discipline no longer needs to be proven. It is also used which brilliantly distinguished themselves during this season competed in Bonaberi, Douala. With guides and encouragement from the coaches and teammates, the competing athletes applied different techniques to override their opponents. And at the end of the tussle for the trophy, the West delegation was declared winner. Mr. Kwetem Paul, regional coordinator of Jiu-Jitsu for the West, expressed joy and satisfaction for the victory and stated a mission accomplished. The captain of the West delegation, Wangsisi Jidas, applauded the Federation for the opportunity given them to showcase their skills. Noni Kersi was crowned best in the Benjamin category, and equally, females competed against males in a dual fight. Present at the competition were guidance, parents, the Federation's Secretary General, the coordinator, and notably the representative of the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, who rendered words of felicitation to the entire team and affirmed the hierarchy's support for the advancement and promotion of Jiu-Jitsu as a sports discipline in Cameroon. For the 2021-2022 session, the West delegation was awarded 7 silver and 6 gold medals, and the Center 1 silver and 6 gold medals. Both delegations are not resting on their laurels as preparations for Cameroon's future international champions follow through.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being with us. See you tomorrow at same time, 7 p.m. Cameroon time. I'm Genda Pelge Blanche King. Happy viewing and good night.